let's swing it over to the third member of our crew and say good afternoon to A.J. Ross.
Hey, Kevin, less than 100 miles separate VCU and George Mason's campuses, and now their intersecting fates will decide who will be crowned A-10 tournament champion. Now, they say defense wins championships, and that's what we're going to see on full display today, with both of these teams boasting top 25 defenses in the country. Ryan Odom told me that his guys have to play aggressive but disciplined, while Tony Skinn added his guys have to stick to their game, but they cannot turn over the ball if they want to make history and win the tournament today, guys.
Good stuff, AJ. She's right. Two good defenses battling today. There's a look at Tony Skinn. He was the A-10 Coach of the Year, now in his second season. And here are the lineups. And any matchup, Dan, that you're going to keep your eye on early in this one.
On the far right, Jalen Haynes against Luke Bamgboye. Haynes has him by 60 pounds inside.
Wow. Terrific officiating crew. Bert Smith has officiated 2 Final Fours, 22 NCAA tournaments. Brian O'Connell, 27th year, 22 NCAA tournaments. And Lee Cassell, 15 NCAA tournaments. Michael Lucky is our standby, and here we go. The winner will go to the NCAA tournament and Selection Sunday, less than 5 hours away. And it's controlled by the team in white. VCU Russell will take a long one and knock it in.
And VCU really struggled to put the ball in the basket yesterday, Kevin, so that's a good sign for that first one to go down.
Team in green, the Patriots of George Mason, led here by O'Connor, beat St. Joe's, the number 6 seed in the semifinals yesterday. And they'll work inside. O'Connor again, and a lot of traffic there. On the fly, putting it up, Darius Maddox, who comes off a 19-point game yesterday.
Well, he's a very good three-point shooter, Kevin, but he's also good going to the basket. He's got that entire little floater game, mid-range jump shot. He's hard to guard.
Max Vogel had it a second ago. The Rams beat Loyola Chicago in the semis yesterday by 7. Outside they go. Philip Russell, and he finds a trap, and the ball is taken away. Grabbed by Maddox. He'll fly and feed the other way. Missing inside on the doorstep was Woody Newton. Bamisile kicks it out. That's a 3. Right down and fouled is Russell. Count it.
VCU is a team that likes to get out and go, Kevin. Averages almost 78 points a game. And when they get going, particularly when they're making threes in transition, they're really tough. You don't want to give them 4s in transition if you can avoid it.
So Philip Russell, who is a grad student out of St. Louis, went to Vashon High School. Before here, he was at UT Arlington, where he was the WAC 6th Man of the Year. And now in his first year, finishing up his first year at VCU, an 81% free throw shooter for the Rams.
He's really been an important element for them. He handles the ball. He's really good defensively.
Quick 6 points for him and some full court pressure, but not unexpected.
No, not unexpected. VCU likes to set their pressure. They're not like the Havoc years where that's all they were about is pressure. But they'll pressure you. They'll drop back. They like to force turnovers, but they don't rely on it.
Ryan Odom, who took Utah State to an NCAA tournament. Now in his second season with the Rams. And they'll break it out here, try to, with Braden O'Connor. And he better get by that line. And he meets the defense of Russell.
Boy, he just did. Just did.
Zach Anderson had it. Now they got Newton with the ball. 4 consecutive wins for the Patriots. They go inside with a miss right there. The rebound by Jack Clark. And Russell at the other end hoisting a 3. With a rebound lassoed by Newton.
That could have been a heat check, Kevin.
Indeed it was. It's O'Connor. He's out of Ottawa, Ontario. And they go inside with a shove and finally putting it through with a nice basket. Cleaning it up with Zach Anderson.
VCU gave up 22 offensive rebounds yesterday. And George Mason, they can get offensive rebounds if they produce the ball. If they get the ball inside to Haynes, that draws the defense.
We have a look at Tony Skinn. And this is the rematch of what was once called the Colonial Athletic Association, now the Coastal Athletic Association, when they met back in 2009 with a look at Ryan Odom, who is the son of Dave Odom, the great coach for so many years at Wake and South Carolina and East Carolina. He's here today and watching at 82 years young and looking great. And very proud of his son.
And extremely nervous.
Yes, I'm sure he is. That's a three. It'll be off. It was missed outside by Bamgboye. And again, it's O'Connor the other way. Haynes had it. And now it's off to Newton. As I said, 4 straight wins for the Patriots. 5 of 6 and 16 of 18 as a whistle is blown and a foul called. And it goes on Bamgboye, who will pick
Ryan
up number
Odom was
1.
concerned about his team fouling too much. George Mason is a team that likes to attack you, and VCU sometimes can get into foul trouble. This is where I think the ball has to go for the Patriots.
Haynes. And that is a 3 by Newton. And a rebound pulled down by Max Shulga, who's the Conference Player of the Year. And with the ball right here, 2-time first team All A-10. Driving down low, Bamgboye lost it. O'Connor has got it. Sneaks it inside. Good feed, pocket pass, and it goes down with a spin by Haynes.
Well, they list Haynes at 260 pounds, and there's just nothing Bamgboye can do if he gets that low.
Zeb Jackson had it and works his way now back to Shulga from Ukraine. Second season VCU. Jackson, the former Michigan Wolverine. Working inside, Bamgboye off the glass, puts it down. He was second team in the conference, and he is coming off an 8-point game, but he has been averaging a ton. In last year's conference championship game, played in Brooklyn, he had 20 points for the Rams, who lost to Duquesne.
Bamgboye is the guy who's looking for his shot every time. You have to be aware of that when you're guarding him.
Braden O'Connor will take it in, slithering with the shot. It's a rebound pulled in by the Rams, and it goes off to Bamgboye from Chesterfield, Virginia. Shulga will make a move, carving down low. Defensive Anderson met him and is on him. Cannot dance free, cannot shake him. 2 straight wins for the Rams, 3 of 4 and 11 of 12, so they're playing very well. Jackson has it, shot clock. Bamgboye outside, Jackson 3. Rebound hauled in inside and taken down by Zach Anderson. Maddox gave it down low, and a draw, it swatted away with a great rejection inside. Terrific defense, and this is what we see from the Rams. Bamgboye got in there. Here in the A-10, we got to look at the current, the past, and the close. With the Rams back in the title game today, Tony Skinn led that George Mason team to the Final Four in 06 and the close of an outstanding Hall of Fame career for the terrific Fran Dunphy.
Well, Fran Dunphy, what a Philadelphia guy, Big 5 legend. He will be missed in college basketball.
He definitely will. Rams are the number 1 seed. They are in white. In green, the Patriots of George Mason. Here at the A-10 championship in Washington. Next year, Pittsburgh. Last year in Brooklyn. The Rams are in the championship again for a 3rd consecutive season in the title game. And for the 9th time in 12 years in this conference.
Yeah, they joined the conference 12 years ago.
Yes.
They've been in the championship game 9 times.
They've been dominant, that's for sure.
Pretty good program.
Jared Billups will inbound. He gets it off to Emajuru, who's got it right here. And he's got size. Now to K.D. Johnson. Shot clock is down to 6. 5 minutes gone in the first half. Maddox has got 4.
And that's that mid-range jump shot, Kevin, and he's their end of the shot clock guy. You know, Haynes is out of the game because his conditioning really isn't all that great, but they don't lose any size with Emajuru. He actually weighs more than Haynes does.
Shulga. Here's Furman. Brandon Jennings is now in the contest. Shulga trying to work, and boy, they're paying attention to him. He's the, like we said, Conference Player of the Year. On the side, Clark. Can't get it. And out of bounds. It will be off of VCU.
Well, Darius Maddox is one of the key players. Here he is, and he's going to get a screen. And because he gets that screen, he just has a little opening, and that's all he needs. Again, he's a great mid-range pull-up jump shooter.
Here's the Auburn transfer, K.D. Johnson, a senior from Atlanta. Maddox going inside, tripped up as he was driving. Inadvertently, but nonetheless goes down. Foul called. 14-15 here in the first. That'll go on Jennings, Dan. That's number 1 on him.
It is, and one of the things that VCU has to do is really keep the dribbler in front of them. And here, Jennings comes in trying to help out because Maddox had beaten Shulga out on the perimeter. You let guys beat you out on the perimeter, that's how you give up offensive rebounds off missed shots.
Johnson, Billups in the backcourt right now. Newton is on top waiting. Back over to Billups, who's the cousin of Chauncey Billups. That's a 2-point shot and a long one right there by Johnson.
Much better job that time keeping George Mason out on the perimeter.
Zeb Jackson off to Clark with a 3. Jack Clark in his 7th year of college. Couple red shirts, the COVID year, and he's now playing here after playing at Clemson last season.
And he was a starter at the end of the year at Clemson on that Elite 8 team.
Wow. Driving here is Maddox into a thicket of defenders. Knocked in, tapped through, Emejuru.
And again, you beat the defense out on the perimeter. Even though he missed the shot, he drew the help, and nobody blocks out Emejuru.
There's Jackson with the spin. Furman underneath, goes up against a couple defenders, grabs his own miss. Good offensive rebound. Shulga on top, a triple. And picked up by K.D. Johnson.
Shulga has not shot the ball well in this tournament. Normally that one, he's got that much time to shoot the 3. That's, you can count that.
Quarterfinals, he was only 1 of 9. Had 14 yesterday against Loyola Chicago in the semis. Driving Johnson off balance, lost his footing, picked up right here. It's Clark on the move. Green jerseys ahead, scoops it home. Count it, foul, what a play. Jack Clark sailing in for 2.
Gives you an idea about the versatility of Jack Clark. 6'8", he can handle the ball. And that is a play that has been eliminated from college basketball as a charging foul because he's already in his shooting motion and the help defender just can't get in there that late.
Newton picked up the first. Clark will be at the line. We said before the Rams a good rebounding team. Dan, you mentioned it. They've got a top 30 rebounding margin in all of college basketball. Number 12 offensive rebounding percentage, which has been terrific, and Clark completes the 3-point play.
Kevin, they're an average defensive rebounding team, but an elite offensive rebounding team, and that's what creates their margin.
The second chance points are a huge factor for him. O'Connor zigzags. Russell is there defensively. Oh, terrific D, but they got a foul away from the ball and down low. May have gone on Furman. As we check that out, he picks up his first. Don't miss a moment of the madness. Catch the 2025 tournament rebound all week long on CBS Sports Network. After watching CBS and the selection show, go over to CBS Sports Network for analysis and all kinds of great details about the upcoming NCAA tournament. Another turnover. It's picked up by Russell. On the wing for Jackson. Drives into O'Connor. With a foul. Co-champions in the Atlantic 10. The Rams of VCU. The Patriots of George Mason. O'Connor picks up the personal foul.
And one of the things that VCU has been able to do early is get out and play in transition. And Jackson, big and strong, he starts going to the basket, particularly in transition. He's hard to stop.
So Zeb Jackson is at the free throw line. He's a 90%er. He is a magnificent, and I mean magnificent, free throw shooter, as that number would tell you. He was the conference 6th man award winner. He's from Toledo, and then he went to Mount Verde, and then went to Michigan and played a couple years for the Wolverines, where they were in the Elite 8, and they were Big Ten champions twice. Now he plays for the Rams and has found a home.
And this is actually his 3rd season with the Rams. But he's a key. He's 6'5",
yes,
190
and long,
pounds.
Dan.
Absolutely, he's a key factor on defense. And when you win the 6th man of the year, that's just an example of what kind of spark you provide off the bench.
K.D. Johnson has it. Now goes over to Billups with a whistle. And Bamisile was down there defending, and Joe will pick it up. And that is his second foul. Something to keep track of certainly early here in the game.
And again, that's what Ryan Odom was worried about. His guys getting in foul trouble. You know, they've had 11 guys disqualified from games for fouls this year, and that's a pretty high total for a college basketball team.
She'll go back in. Michael Bell will check in. He's a sophomore from London, England. George Mason with it right now. Anderson. Bell is defending, reaching in, pokes it away, and you see the loose ball vacuumed in right there. Taken by Haynes. He'll put up a three, and nice shot. Haynes, who now is 3 of 17, but he had a couple in this tournament, one last night.
Well, he had his second three-point basket made of the year last night, and that's his third. And we actually asked Tony Skid about that, and he said, I wish he wouldn't shoot this.
I know it, but he's got a nice stroke. Here they go with Russell. Got the screen. Furman set. Ball is loose. Rolls out. And it will be George Mason's ball. 11-21.
Coming into this one, this was going to be a defensive bout. How do you feel your team is balanced, being aggressive but disciplined to start this one?
Well, we fouled too many times already. You know, just little ticky-tack stuff, off the ball stuff. Haynes is trying to post up. We get a foul. Foul on the ball right over here by Joe to get 2. So we've got to be a little bit better, all right, defensively and more disciplined, keeping our hands off, but still being there and pressuring them.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck.
Awesome.
So he's trying to take his third different program to the tournament like his dad did. His dad was so great at Wake Forest. He had Tim Duncan there at South Carolina. There's Dave Odom, a 2-time conference coach of the year and one of the great gentlemen. Dan, I know you're very close to him.
Well, he's one of the great coaches. I mean, that man knows more about basketball than anybody I've ever met. And as great a coach as he was, he is a better person.
Wonderfully said. Ryan Odom took Utah State to the tournament a couple years ago. Then he had that historic UMBC team, which went to the tournament as a 16 seed and beat #1 UVA. So trying to take his third different program to the tournament. What an accomplishment, and a terrific coach. O'Connor on top. On the wing, free to fire. Here's a long shot by Anderson, and the rebound pulled down by Michael Bell. And here come the Rams, 27-6, with a 15-3 conference record.
Boy, that was really close to a turnover. Jackson was going to throw it to Bell, and Bell wasn't looking. And somehow Jackson was able to hang on to that ball.
Furman from Jackson. Shulga on the side. Shot clock at 9. The defense there is put on him by Anderson. And that's a 3, which goes down and hit again. And Jackson has now got 5.
And again, Shulga draws the defense, creates an opening.
That's the third 3 hit by the Rams. O'Connor 3. Got it.
You know,
O'Connor.
Haynes averages during the season less than, just barely over 1 assist per game. He has 2 assists today. He had 6 yesterday.
Russell picked up with a little bump on the wing by Haynes. Furman inside. Haynes awaits. 10 minutes gone. Halfway through the first half. Furman on the fly. Rebound hauled in inside. Grabbed by Anderson. And now to K.D. Johnson. 12 points in the semis yesterday against St. Joe's. February, the Patriots went 6-1. Same in January. They are 26-7. O'Connor on the move, puts it through on a 14-footer, and he's got 5.
And, Haynes not only scores inside and makes threes, obviously, now, and gets assists, but he is some kind of a big screen, and that time VCU just couldn't get around it.
Jackson got a screen for Furman, but O'Connor fought through it. And the Rams reset. Now defensively, Billups. Jackson kicks. A collision. Ball loose. Whacked out there was Russell. Boy, that was like a football play with a big hit by K.D. Johnson. And Johnson picks up #1 for the Patriots.
Johnson runs into him. Of course, is his major drama? I think that was, there's a little bit of an enhancement right there. There's no question that Johnson hit him and knocked him down, and that was a foul. But Johnson's upset about it, mainly because I thought it was really enhanced by Russell.
I get your point, and you may in fact be right. As the Rams inbound, they won 15 of 17 to close the regular season. A turnover here, even for the 6'10" Clark. He could not get that pass, which was high. And watch it again.
Shulga gets down into the lane, draws two guys, and Billups gets away from Jackson. Now, Jackson's only a 31% three-point shooter, and you'd like to stop Shulga inside.
Full court pressure. They can't inbound. Quick timeout taken by George Mason. A credit to the defense of the Rams. Local schools, or close-by schools, we should say. And we told you before, the Rams have been to 9 of the last 12 of these Atlantic 10 championship contests. And the Patriots are here. They've not been often. First time they've made it this far in this conference. O'Connor on top. Big time screen from Ejuru. Billups will drive into a thicket. Oh, knocked away inside. Swatted, and how so? My goodness, climbing the ladder. Bamgboye, who is one of the top shot blockers in the conference.
Well, Bamgboye, you know, when you're driving the lane, you got to be aware that he is there, and it's hard. I mean, he really gets up, 6'10", 200 pounds. Coming into the game, Kevin, he had 70 blocked shots on the season. He's got 2 today.
And Ejuru gets it over to O'Connor. He'll work on the perimeter, but the shot clock is at 5. Dancing here with Jackson. He's got to fire. Oh, it's blocked by Jackson. And they'll come the other way, led here by Brandon Jennings. Shulga, Jennings finds a gap. He'll corkscrew and feed. Shulga on top, knocked away, out of bounds. Shot clock at 21.
Kevin, that's one where I think Shulga has to shoot the ball.
Is that the second time you've said that now about him getting a chance down low?
Well, this is and we said Jackson is 6'5", and the shot clock's running down. He knows it's going to be launched, so he doesn't have to worry about a fake. Just blocks it. But Shulga had an open 3 and passed it out.
So the team in white has been to these championship games 9 of 12. The team in green, first time ever. Bamgboye collects, spins, and can't get it to drop. O'Connor is there. Eight minutes in the first half here in Washington. Bamgboye with a heavy screen and a foul. He got caught right there. Ejuru was up, setting the screen, and Giovanni Ejuru will pick it up. Teams take on the personality of their coach. That's what Tony Shin gives. A lot of grit to this team. And he moments ago talked with our A.J. Ross.
Coach, you're winning the battle on the glass, and you've been able to dominate in the paint, but VCU's gotten out in transition. What else do you need to see from your guys at this point?
They've got 12 points, maybe 14 off our turnovers. That's the name of the game. We talked about it. If we can secure the basketball, they can't score on us in the half court. It is what it is. But we're killing ourselves right now, and if we can take care of the ball and get a little bit more physicality on the other end and keep this thing as physical as it's been, I think we're the more physical team, and the tide will turn.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck.
Thank you. It does seem that George Mason is peaking at the right time.
Yeah, it does. They've done really well. What the stat they had, they've won 24 of their last 28 games. They're playing very well, and particularly they're playing well on the defensive end.
That's a great record, winning 24 of your last 28. They're 24-4. They began 2-3, but they've really gotten traction as you take a look at the Conference Coach of the Year, Tony Shin, second season. He's won 70% of his games. He's had great success since he's been named the head coach.
Well, and now here he goes to, his team goes to a 2-3 zone. Now, they won't play 2-3 zone the whole possession. Usually, they'll switch to man-to-man at some point in the possession, which they've done right now.
Clark to Shulga. Shulga will take it in. There's a lot of traffic in there, but he finds 2.
Well, you know, you go to a defense like that because you're trying to confuse the opposition, but it's going to be hard to confuse veteran guys like VCU.
Justin Begg, as a freshman, is in now with the ball. Jackson's on him. Billups back to Begg. Averages about 10 minutes a game. Chisels his way inside. Rebound taken in, gobbled in by Haynes, but he throws it away, and here comes Jack Clark. And then Jackson got the screen, takes it in, and a 17-footer. Rebound inside, ripped off by Haynes, and then a foul on VCU.
With George Mason playing a little bit of zone, the defensive player of the year, Billups isn't guarding him, so he gets right by Begg, and that's an easy one.
Jennings picks up his second. AJ, what do you have?
Kevin, I can tell you Shulga is actually the heartbeat of this VCU team, and he's really been shown a lot of love by this VCU community. Here's some photos from their last home game where fans showed a beautiful display of Ukrainian flags. He's a Ukraine native and hasn't been home since the war broke out there, but he says this community here at VCU has embraced him like family, shown so much love. He wants to return that love with a championship today, guys.
AJ, he was at Utah State with Odom, and then he transferred when Odom took the job with the Rams. He followed. Big down low, kicks it out. Newton is there. Three, and no. Bamgboye defending. Bamgboye was over there defending as well, and here comes Shulga. Bamgboye with a screen. Shulga with just 2 points. Had 2 points in the championship game last year as well. That's a three. Beautiful shot right there, put in by Joe Bamgboye.
And that's why Ryan Odom risks putting Bamgboye back in the game with the 2 fouls in the first half. They really need his offensive firepower.
He had 8 points against Loyola yesterday. Against St. Bonaventure in the quarters, he had 13. Bamgboye, grad student. Played at Oklahoma, played at George Washington. There's a shot from outside. A 2 by Begg off the bench and gets the deuce.
Well, Begg is a guy that's not a big scorer coming off the bench. So you're really happy if you're George Mason to get those 2 points.
It's Clark, the Clemson transfer. Bamgboye, and on top they got Russell. It's a 3, no. Rebound grab by Newton. And here come the Patriots.
And so far, George Mason doing a great job on their defensive boards. VCU only has 2 offensive rebounds. They were both on the same possession, and they resulted in no score.
Team in green. The Patriots haven't been to the tournament since 2011. Another turnover, but they save it here. Shot clock at 7. Inside, underneath, heavy contact. Clark was climbing all over Billups.
Well, you mentioned Clark at 6'10", and he's pretty athletic. He moved very quickly to knock this one down. Bamgboye, fortunately, didn't pick up a foul, but Clark just gets right behind him and almost takes it right out of his hands.
They got 5 blocks on the defensive end for the Rams. The next block will set a school record for VCU. 3, no. Off the rim that time, not going in. Maddox can't hit. Flying the other way, Russell. Shulga. Bamgboye with the screen. Clark with the 3. Rebound taken inside. Grab there by Bamgboye, but here come the Patriots. Billups off balance, contorting up a shot and can't get it to go, and a foul called. With 4:45 to go in the first half. Russell, number 1, Dan, there. Is there a blood rule perhaps here?
I'm not sure.
Because the officials have stopped.
They're sending everybody to the bench. Yes, somebody, I think it's Bamgboye who's bleeding. And they'll give you some time to stop the blood.
Joe Bamgboye, who was 1 year at Virginia Tech. Then he went to George Washington in the A-10. He was a conference player.
Under the basket.
Checking on the contact.
All right, and so they're also going to look. What I heard was Jackson under the basket.
And there's Bamgboye again. They're working on the cut. He was also at Oklahoma for a year. And now with the Rams. 1,000-point scorer in his college career. Off the bench last year, starts this year. Averaged 13 a game last year, averaging 15 a game this season for the 2. As we're getting our explanation here from the official, and Dan, you just were visiting with them.
Well, yeah, and it's not the current play. They're not looking at they're looking at something 2 plays ago.
Are they? Okay.
To see if it was a flagrant 1 foul. So it's something that happened down on the end of the court, the George Mason basket in this half, so right in front of the VCU bench. It has something to do with Zeb Jackson, but it's not the current play. The current play is a foul. but it's the play down here before that.
And they found some time to look with the blood rule in effect as they take care of that. We talked about the turnovers that the Rams are forcing on the Patriots. The team in white forcing the team in green. The Rams really don't turn it over. They got a +2.5 assist to turnover ratio, and they're #1 in the Atlantic 10 in that category, and they're one of the best teams in college basketball in the assist to turnover. So let's watch this here again. They're talking about the box out from
right there. That's Russell right on the baseline. On that again. So it's not Jackson, it was Russell, #1, and that was what you call a block out. So right here is where you're looking.
So Gene Steratore will now join us. He is our rules analyst. And Gene, what are you seeing? Ooh, look at I know it looks like the football gridiron there with that kind of hit, Gene.
It was a pretty good hit, Kevin, and I could see Lee Casal on the fast break. Remember, by rule, you have a 2 dead ball situation, or before the ball becomes live for the second time to take a look, and you can clearly see a pretty strong box out there by Philip Russell on K.D. Johnson. I don't think there's contact to the head and neck, but excessive appears to be somewhat excessive, unnecessary, potentially unnecessary, so they could elevate this to a flagrant one on that. And I think they let the first one go. They came back. Lee Casal had to stop and wanted to look. I think they go flagrant one on this one.
After review of the previous action under the basket, it's been decided that there will be a flagrant foul on #1 from VCU for an unnecessary contact.
Philip Russell. Gene was all over it, and Gene, we thank you for that.
Well, Kevin, this is one thing that happens when you're Philip Russell and you give that dramatic enhancement of the foul earlier. When you do something like this, the referees are going to be looking for you. And so you heard Bert Smith say that's not an excessive contact, that is an unnecessary contact. And now what we're going to do is we're going to shoot the free throws first.
By Jared Billups, who is the A-10 Defensive Player of the Year, the best defensive player in this conference, a 77% free throw shooter. And Dan, here we are at the 4:45 mark of the first half, and that was George Mason's first free throw. And their second.
And he was fouled. Remember, Billups was fouled shooting the ball. And so he gets those 2 free throws. Now, Johnson was the guy who was fouled on the flagrant. And so he's going to shoot the 2 flagrant free throws. And then George Mason is going to get the ball. This could be a 6-point trip for George Mason.
Pretty significant. K.D. Johnson at the line, coming off, as we mentioned earlier, over St. Joseph's in the semifinals, 12 points. Against George Washington in the quarterfinals, he had 11. He only averages 7, so he's had a good tournament so far.
Well, they list him at 6 feet tall, but he is a really muscular kid.
Is.
And he handles the ball very well, and he's pretty tough.
Little 6-0 run as he just mapped out for us. We're tied.
So now again, they have a chance to take the lead. This could be a 6-point trip. And that's what Ryan Odom was talking to with AJ, that his team had just been a couple of undisciplined plays here in the first half that have led to some fouls.
We're in the midst of our 4th tie. George Mason has never led in this one. This championship game, the winner going to the tournament. Good feed for the lead. Off the glass, wouldn't go. And the fight for the ball out of bounds, which typifies this great month of March. Aggressively going for it out of bounds and off VCU.
And you get another situation where VCU simply can't control the defensive rebounds. We mentioned they had a real struggle with that yesterday and struggle a little bit with that so far today.
Johnson has it. Maddox. Shulga will defend. Billups on top. 1 second to fire. Good if it goes. And the rebound is grabbed by Jack Clark. 1,000-point score. And there was a shove as he was driving, and K.D. Johnson picked it up.
You know, Philip Russell, #1 for VCU, and K.D. Johnson have been in the middle of a lot of these things.
They have, yeah, you're right.
Today.
Johnson just picked up his 2nd foul for the Patriots.
Well, he really bodied Clark out of bounds, and if Clark doesn't risk going out of bounds there, that's probably not a foul, because if you have contact that leads to an advantage, then that's a foul.
Clark is at the line. This is one of the more interesting stories in all of college basketball. As he gets the free throw to go. He again has had 2 red shirts. He's in his 7th year of college basketball. He took the redshirt COVID year. He played for LaSalle, Dan, for 3 years in the A-10. Played at North Carolina State 1 year. Then he went to Clemson, and you told us earlier on, went to the Elite Eight and was a big part of what the Tigers were doing. And AJ, you have watched his career too.
I have, and someone who has also had a front row seat is Max Shulga. He says that Jack Clark is one of the coolest, calmest guys he's ever played with. He's been through just about everything. He crashes the boards, he moves the ball around, and he said he might be one of the best passers he's ever played with in college, guys.
Today is his 145th college basketball game play. Well, he's got a chance to really cap it off well should VCU go and maybe make the tournament for a 2nd consecutive season individually. They got Maddox on the wing. Fires over Shulga. Rebound inside Clark. Hit high. There's a foul. Uh-oh. That was against. Was that? That was Billups. Going to go Billups, yes. And a timeout with 3:54 to go. Hasn't trailed today. They trailed for only 3.5 minutes in their first 2 games of this tournament when they beat Loyola Chicago by 7 and St. Bonnie's Friday by 17. The automatic bids at stake today. 3:54 to go. VCU by 2 with Clark at the line, now a 3-point lead.
Kevin, before the game, we said that George Mason had to clean up the second chance points.
Right.
They lost that battle 12-4 in the first game. They're leading 6-0 in this game. So they've turned it over. They've allowed VCU to get out in transition, but they have not allowed VCU to dominate the offensive boards.
Shulga and Furman out there for VCU. Clark at the line. Bamasil along with Jackson. That's the Ram 5. Inbounding is Billups. Out there with Haynes. Johnson is out there. Maddox. And O'Connor. That's the 5 for the Patriots.
And remember, Bamasil, number 22 in white, has 2 fouls. He's got to be careful.
Haynes inside. Whacked away. Knocked away by Jack Clark from behind. That's 6 blocks, and that is a program record for 1 season.
Well, Haynes is a guy who can take the ball from the outside and take it in. And Clark just follows him. Haynes never saw him.
As a team, they set a single-season school record with that block moments ago. Driving hard, Haynes. That's picked up by Clark. George Mason has missed 11 of their last 12 shots. 3.5 to play in the half. Jackson on top. Billups comes up on him. Jackson. Clark and Shulga. A lot of veterans. Look at Haynes out on that perimeter. First team against first team in the conference. Down he goes, hits the deck. Haynes is on. They're looking for a tie-up. And oh, look at Haynes. He's a big man with a big grip. He just took it away.
Well, Kevin,
He lifted him and the ball right off the floor.
That got out of hand very quickly.
Oh, but it's March. That's we like that kind of stuff. With 3:01 to go in the first half. It means a lot to these kids, and you're seeing it with plays and aggressiveness like this right here. That the officials will discuss. It was tied up, and then Shulga wouldn't let go, nor would Jalen Haynes.
Well, you got a couple of things going on here.
We're going to take a look at the action that occurred after the held ball.
And what happened after the held ball was you saw Jack Clark come running in and fly up against Haynes. So there's the held ball. Now he's picking up. Now Clark is coming in, and he comes in and he pushes Haynes.
Furman pushed him too. And Gene's territory, you've watched all this. What have you seen?
Well, a lot going on here, as you guys know right now. And And truthfully, I think kudos to both benches, guys. If you really think about it, a situation like this, no one comes off the benches, which is great. You mentioned it already. It's March. We're playing for the Atlantic 10 Championship. Emotions are very high. Referees do a great job coming in to break things up. I think, Kevin, you just mentioned the Furman push to me looked like a little bit, that was like a second act now away from this first scuttle. Now, whether they elevate this to a dead ball contact technical, and do they offset it because of another action that's taking place? This, to me, is just good physical. We're playing until you guys blow the whistle. Now you've got a push right there, which I think might go to that space, right? If we're going to put a technical foul on someone, I think it may be in that place. But then you see cooler heads prevail to some extent where they didn't continuously push it. So I think a good job by everybody involved, really.
Gene, when you were officiating, was it that second action that really would catch your eye right off the bat?
100%, Kevin, yes. And it's a good point. The players are going to be players, and intensity is a great thing to be part of. This doesn't look like anything more. Now, Haynes, maybe by the time the whistle takes place, he doesn't have to let everybody know that it's going to be his basketball at the end of it. But that's kind of part of it, right? I mean, that's just kind of part of where we are and why these teams are playing for a championship. But yes, the second act, the push, someone coming in from the exterior to create or ignite or elevate, that's when I think you go into that breaking down.
Gene, he's a big rascal. I mean, he's in there. He lifted the ball and the kid off the floor.
I was afraid
that's a football player, Kev. Yeah, those guys that take me to my football, I might throw a beanbag on the floor there for a loose ball and see where the fumble goes from there. But yeah, there's some big bodies out there.
Good stuff, Gene. We always thank you. They're still looking at it over on the sideline. Gene Steratore, invaluable member of our crew. Let's listen to this. Can we hear the whistle? Yep, right there. And now this.
Well, the thing that started it all is Haynes did not stop on the whistle. And he had his arm in there, and that was sort of around Shulga's neck. And AJ talked about how close this VCU team is. And so when they see their leader there with some guy who has the ball in his neck, they're going to react.
And Dan, you just gotten the word.
Well, they got it backwards. They said there's a double contact technical fouls.
Okay.
He said white 11 and green 21, but he meant green 11 and white 21.
There are going to be 2 dead ball contact technicals, one to each team, number 21 for VCU and number 11 for George Mason. Play will resume with the ball to George Mason off of the held ball, and we will go down the court.
All right, so Bert Smith, he got it right. It's against number 21, Furman. That's what Gene talked about.
Yep.
But it was also against number 11, Haynes. And Haynes got that because of the whistle. You could clearly hear the whistle. And, he was still trying to pick Shulga up and take his head off. The whistle blows right there, and he just keeps going. And so Furman comes in, and he gets the second one. And I think that's pretty good right there. So
I do too.
Basically, there's 1 foul to each team, and yeah, and after all of this, the possession arrow favors George Mason, so they get the ball.
Right. So George Mason and the Rams of VCU, both these teams have the same conference record, 15-3. Second meeting this season. VCU won the first match. O'Connor perusing, driving, firing, no. And the rebound grabbed inside by Luke Bamgboye with a foul.
It's on Bamgboye.
Bamgboye will pick it up. Coming up on AT&T at the half. Adam, Clark, and Jay, along with Seth, will have their take on our first half, plus all the latest scores and highlights as the final automatic qualifiers punch their tickets to the tournament. All coming up on AT&T at the half.
And that's the 3rd foul on Bamgboye. And Kevin, he is a veteran player. In that situation, it's much more important that he not pick up that 3rd foul than he defend that drive by O'Connor. That's a real blow for VCU.
And the Juru has come in. O'Connor is at the line. The foul. Bamgboye, his third. And O'Connor here shooting. At the UMass Lowell last season. Now he is with the Patriots. And Bamgboye looking at that cut on his.
Well, he had that blood problem. Yep. So since there's no way he's going back in the game in the first half, they're going to take him to the locker room and get that cleaned up.
Here's Jackson, who's in his third season in this program. Bamgboye. There's a whistle and a shove, and that's going to go, I think, on Billups. It is. Billups will pick it up. As he was shoving, there was a lot of hand-to-hand contact, and that is his second personal foul.
Well, you mentioned Shulga, the A-10 Player of the Year. Billups, the A-10 Defensive Player of the Year. And if you're going to try to shut down one guy on VCU, Shulga is the guy.
Shulga is the guy to do it. He was with a 1,000-point score before he came to VCU. He's almost 1,000 points in his 2 years with the Rams. At the line here, 78% free throw shooter. Terrific in his career. And I mentioned this a little bit earlier, coming off a 14-point game over Loyola Chicago on yesterday. But in the championship game last season against Duquesne, only 5 points. As VCU's gone 10 of 10 at the line, and Shulga has now got 4.
And that 10 of 10 at the line is really the difference in the game right now for VCU, because they have not shot the ball well from the field.
Katie Johnson. How about they got Clark at 6'10" on that perimeter defender. Newton. Maddox driving hard inside, hits the deck, fouled on the play. It has been a physical game, and we expected this, and both coaches told us before the game to look for it.
But this is a situation where Jennings just gets out of position, and when Maddox is able to drive by, the defense has to come to help, and Jennings just reaches in and grabs it.
Foul there on Jennings, number 3. George Mason, team in green, they've won 20 games or more 3 consecutive years. At the free throw line, Dan, right now they got Maddox.
But Jennings has only played about 6 minutes in the game. You know, that's what I used to do. You get in and you foul and out you go.
Oh, you're not being fair to yourself.
Yeah, because I never got in.
Darius Maddox from Bowie, Maryland. Went to Oak Hill Academy and a Virginia Tech transfer. He's a senior. Third-team All-Conference. Zeb Jackson will bring it up. And under 2 to go in the first half. The winner going to the NCAA Tournament. It's Shulga on top. Jackson in on the side. Clark with a 3. Caught! He got it. Nice shot.
Really good ball movement by VCU after a near turnover.
Clark has got 13. He averages 9. It's Katie Johnson. Looks back at his coach, Tony Skinn. Maddox. Johnson. Shulga will defend. Shot clock is down to 7. Shifting through traffic with the handles and the 3. No. Rebound corralled and taken by Bamgboye.
What a great job by Shulga, moving his feet and then contesting that shot without fouling.
Bell had that last rebound. 1 minute to go, approaching right now in the first half. Jackson works on Newton. It's Clark and Shulga. Shot clock at 4, working it down. Maddox defends the 3 off. Rebound, Bamgboye was held. Foul called inside. Emejuru may have gotten it.
We talked about these two teams being really good defensive teams, and VCU on that last possession, just an outstanding job. Johnson is trying to get around Shulga, and he just can't do it. And Shulga then, again, a real good contest on that shot without fouling.
Emejuru picks up his second. Bamgboye is at the free throw line. All defensive team member, 52% at the line. And you saw the result of that.
But it's an adventure when he goes to the line.
Yes, it is. He's from London, England. He had the 6 points yesterday, 8 against St. Bonnie's on Friday in the quarterfinals. All rookie team, all defensive team in his freshman season.
We've already seen that he's a dynamite shot blocker.
Oh, he is one of the top 25 in college basketball. 6'10". Great anticipation. Katie Johnson. Final half minute. That was deflected by Bell. The defense by Bamgboye and Bell. It's Haynes on top. Johnson will get the handoff. Shot clock down to 6. Sizing him up. Bell will defend down low. Turnover right there.
Kevin, again, the last time it was Shulga, this time it was Bell who is moving his feet. Bell is 6'8", 220, and the 6-footer couldn't get by him.
Automatic bid with this winner. And Yale has captured the Ivy League tournament. The winner here against the A-10, Tennessee, Florida. Coming up later on, the SEC tournament champion decided with that matchup, and then the Big Ten final here on CBS.
Kevin, in that American championship game between UAB and Memphis, there's a lot of teams on the bubble out there who are really rooting hard for Memphis.
Jackson surveys, no shot clock, only the game clock. Winding down the first half. Jackson will dance. O'Connor is there. Here is a 3. And a rebound collected. Shulga got it. He taps it in at the buzzer. Ever present, puts it in, has 6, and he's just given the Rams their biggest lead of the first half.
What a great tip by Bamgboye. He goes over everybody, tips it right to Shulga, who's Johnny on the spot.
Halftime of the A-10 championship in Washington. And Shulga, the conference player of the year, with a Bamgboye tip to make it happen. And the player of the year is with our A.J. Ross.
Max, great putback there before the buzzer. It's been a tough physical game, but your defense has led to some great transition offense. How critical is that in a game like this?
It's super important. We knew they were going to be super physical. They're one of the best defensive teams in the country. So, we got to bring it to them, get stops, and then running them in transition when they have less time to get set and set their defense.
Thank you, Max. Good luck.
Max Shulga leads this team to 27 wins this season, a conference title, and here they are in the conference tournament final. We had more fouls than shots made. But you know what? In these tournament games where every possession means so much.
Kevin, it's not only that. Remember, these teams, this is their 3rd game in 3 days, and everything is on the line. So normally, you don't see classic shooting in this kind of game.
I'm not sure as broadcasters and people that cover in the media, we put enough emphasis on what these kids go through in these conference tournaments. In terms, there's a nice play going inside Bamgboye, but the defense met him. And the other way, O'Connor dishing off to Haynes. Maddox on the side with a little move and kicking it. Look at the ball rotation here, and a long shot by Newton. Rebound, Anderson back outside. O'Connor with a 3.
And once again, you see a situation where VCU cannot secure a defensive rebound, and they paid for it.
That 3 won't throw, and picked up by Zach Anderson. He was on the Florida Gulf Coast University team. He's a transfer here to the Patriot program with George Mason.
And Shulga now 0 for 3 from beyond the arc.
Maddox to Haynes, and Haynes will take it in. It was knocked away once. And they're defended twice. He is a big man inside. Bamgboye makes the play. Bamgboye coming up with one big play after another. And Shulga inside. Bamgboye continues to impress with those block shots, and now 7 for the Rams. Russell 3. Rebound collected by Bamgboye, who takes it in for 2.
And again, Bamgboye is an extremely important part of the offensive attack, and keep in mind, he's playing with 3 personal fouls.
Rams in white have won 2 A-10 championships 2 years ago and back in 2015. 3rd straight title game appearance for them. O'Connor chiseling. Haynes will just muscle his way inside with a whistle. And a foul, and it's going to go on VCU. As moments ago, Joe Bamgboye with a nice move on a miss.
Nobody blocks him out, and Bamgboye is able to get to the basket easily. And Haynes And this is a great job by Bamgboye, just going straight up in the air twice to block the shot.
Haynes again, and in his way, Bamgboye, Anderson. Shot clock now in single digits. That's a three. Zach Anderson. And put in by Anderson, who now has 5.
And Anderson is a very capable three-point shooter. Shoots almost 39% from out there.
He started 28 of 33 games. Shulga knocked away inside. Swatted away by Anderson.
And Anderson, when he shoots the three, he's also a guy, he's a catch-and-shoot three-point shooter. You can't give him that much time. But Haynes occupies so much space down on the inside.
Bamgboye has it and drives. Cutting inside, Clark hit up high that time, looked by Newton. With a foul, Newton picks up his second, and now it's time for Inside March Madness. It is presented by Chevrolet.
And of course, Jerry Palm thinks only one team will go. He thinks only the winner of this game will go. But either one, you know, George Mason, that's a heck of a 13 seed to see. And VCU, an 11 or 12 seed, there, you wouldn't want to see them in the bracket either.
Although that free throw didn't go in for the Rams, and Clark will miss his first, they are a good free throw shooting team, just under 80% and good for 14th in the country.
You know, Tony Skinn told us before the game that he thought both of these teams were NCAA tournament worthy, and there's no question that he is correct. But the way we do the metrics these days, it's just hard for teams like VCU and George Mason that don't get a chance to play a lot of quad one games to be considered.
Maddox with Shulga defending, and Shulga got the rebound. The team in green has not been to the tournament. George Mason since 2011. Here's Bamgboye, who got it from Shulga. He'll make the drive. Maddox defends. Ball is knocked away. Good defense there, and a turnover. Here we are in Washington, D.C. at the A-10 Championship All-State. You're in good hands.
Now, we talked about Bamgboye and how aggressive he is with the basketball, always looking for his shot. You know, sometimes you can be careful if you have 3 fouls if you're on defense, but on offense, he runs the risk of an offensive foul. He's got to watch that.
It's O'Connor, who is the high school basketball player of the year in Ottawa, Ontario. Driving here, in the way was Russell, and a foul called on the VCU guard, Russell. Number 3.
So now VCU now has 3 players with 3 fouls. And 2 of them are starters, Russell and Bamgboye.
They're going to leave Russell in. Shulga comes out, and they bring in the terrific guard, Zeb Jackson. O'Connor, and Russell defends. Bamgboye is there. Anderson, who just hit the 3. Inside is Haynes. Look at the traffic he brings to him. Surrounded by 3. Draped on the shoulders. Got the miss. Digs inside. A foul called. The big man working inside for the Patriots.
And working very hard inside. This is a really tough one to rebound because he's the guy right there going back up and getting the ball. They're just not able to keep him away. And again, another offensive rebounding sequence for George Mason.
Clark picked up the foul eventually. And back out to Haynes. And picked up inside, losing it and then getting it. VCU led by Jackson.
Furman came really close to giving that ball away.
Furman is in. He'll set the screen. They were looking for the screen roll, and Clark will take the 3. It's loose. It's a foul. It's called inside on the Patriots. Team in green, George Mason picking it up. That goes on Darius Maddox.
Shulga averages 15 a game. Haynes has been playing really well. So those 5 points, you chalk that up as a victory so far if you're VCU.
Clark has got it on the wing. Good fake right here. Russell in traffic. Rebound is taken by Jared Billups. And here comes George Mason. They began 8-17. They've gone 3 of 22 since. O'Connor tried to scoop it around a defender out of bounds. It goes. Shot clock at 20.
One thing that George Mason has done very well, you remember we talked about the fast break points at being 12-2. It's still 12-2. They've done a great job cutting off that VCU transition game.
Knocked away, deflected. Maddox has it. He's missed his last 5. Haynes has it. He's missed his last 6. Into Furman, backpedaling and throwing it up and fouled as he hit the floor.
Haynes has had a little bit better success against Furman. He takes the ball and drives in, and Furman takes that hit and bounces back. Bamgboye, we've seen him take that hit, bounce back, but he maintains his balance and doesn't go try to attack Haynes. He waits for him and blocks the shot.
Jalen Haynes at the line from Virginia Tech to East Tennessee State. After his high school ball, the prep school, Montverde from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. 61% free throw shooter. His dad, Michael, watching with pride in the stands here in Washington as they bring back in Johnson and they send Darius Maddox to the bench.
Well, Haynes may not always be perfect, Kevin, but he always plays hard.
He always plays. He's played very hard today. And Dan, when you're playing day after day after day in these conference tournaments, it can wear on you, as you were talking about before. And I was beginning to say, and we were stopped as we see more full court here, that maybe we don't put enough on just the stamina, the endurance of these kids as O'Connor picks one up in backcourt.
And you're right about that, Kevin, but this is a foul. You know, you can't have this foul. I mean, he pushes him away, and that's probably not a foul, except he loses the ball. So contact that results in an advantage for the defense is a defensive foul.
His second foul. Ends up Jackson has it. O'Connor is on him. Furman. Seal takes it in hard. Wheeling for 2. Foul called. Thousand-point scorer Joe Bamgboye.
Well, he just wheels off the screen, and not even really screen. KD Johnson just doesn't keep up with him, and that's what Bamgboye can do. I mean, he's a big guy, 6'4", 200 pounds, and he's always looking for his offense.
One of the benefits that Ryan Odom had of coaching VCU this season, he had his top 3 scorers, Dan, return this year. Shulga, Jackson, and Bamgboye. That's a good way to start the year.
Absolutely.
And you don't see that much in the college game with all the transfers and everything else going on.
Well, Kevin and Shulga flirted with going to Villanova, transferring to Villanova, but elected to come back.
KD Johnson. Anderson has it. O'Connor was on the control. Haynes on top. Haynes a screen. O'Connor will try to figure it out. Shot clock is down to 7. Johnson feeds inside. Haynes back out. Johnson 3. No. Rebound Furman.
Kevin, I know that Haynes is, he's trying to pass the ball, but when he's that close to the basket against Furman, he's got to try to take that one up.
Stopping and starting Jackson. Bamgboye on the move. Got it again. Counted for Joe. Foul called. Give him 12. Big play.
And again, he's doing all this with 3 fouls. And Bamgboye just does a great job getting down into the lane. Here's Bamgboye over here, and just watch as the ball comes to him. He never stops. He catches the ball and goes right into that crease. Somebody's got to step in and stop him.
Trans program has had a lot of success. 25 consecutive winning seasons. Only 4 other programs in the country can match that. They include Duke, Gonzaga, Kansas, Michigan State, and VCU. 5 programs with that continual success over a quarter century. And here we go with George Mason working it in and down. Biggest lead right now for VCU. Anderson curls and across the lane, stripped to the ball, picked up inside. Haynes trying to put it up and off with a foul called. the line. Haynes, 4 fouls called now on Jennings of VCU.
Well, that was a really big break for George Mason and a tough play on Jennings because VCU had the ball and it just got knocked away, and when it got knocked away it went right to Haynes.
Clark is out. Michael Bell is checked back in for the Rams. Foul trouble, and Dan, you've touched on it since the start of the second half, and going back late to the first half, you said we got to watch these fouls, and clearly now they're beginning to mount.
Well, they are, and what did Ryan Odom tell AJ both before the game and during the first time out there of the game, and that is they were fouling too much, and he told us he was worried about the fouls. 6 minutes gone here in the second half. The winner goes to the NCAA tournament with an automatic berth. Bamgboye on top. He'll zig, he'll zag, he'll feed. It's Bell. Good defense. Jackson on top. Shot clock at 6. Shulga's got the ball. Sizes it up. Got a screen. Bouncing off bodies. A foul. Haynes. Kevin, and in the middle of that sequence, I thought Shulga passed up a wide open 3.
Now, you've said that like 3 times today about him. That he has probably shots that he's not taking.
Well, now Shulga, he sees the big guy coming out and just goes right at him. That is really a clever play by a very experienced guard.
Lost by Bamgboye. Picked up on the play. Anderson was out, and they give it now to Maddox. Cross court. Katie Johnson. Haynes is here. Furman defends them. Oh, Furman knocked it away. My goodness, what block shocking ability they've got.
Well, I mean, he doesn't give ground, and he puts his hand straight up there. He doesn't try to jump. He just goes and puts his hand on the ball. This is really a nice play. It's a bad break that the ball doesn't go off of. There's again, they almost blocked the shot.
Can't get it. Johnson, now they're going to scramble for it on the floor. Shulga is there, digs it out, gets it out to Jackson.
Now Shulga taking his life in his hands, going down on the floor.
Phillips defending. Shulga right here. Cross court. Jackson, fought 3. Defended by Johnson. Bamgboye on top. Underneath Furman. Double. Oh, they ripped it away.
Well, you got to take that one and dunk it, Kevin. What is he waiting for?
It's Johnson down the middle. On the wing. This is a 3. Good! Big time hit by Phillips.
What a huge turnaround. Furman has a dunk. He hesitates, loses the ball, and then George Mason gets a 3. So that's a 5-point swing in this game.
Jackson and Shulga, little 2-man game. Furman is screen up top. Haynes awaits. Into Furman. Lost it again. Another turnover. It's Maddox the other way. It's a 3. Good! Newton puts it down. It's a 2-point game with his first basket today.
Kevin, in this half, they're 4 for 8 from beyond the arc.
And you can see what was the difference in their only meeting back on February 22nd then compared to today. A 3 by Jackson. A rebound hauled in by the leaping Newton, who hit that 3 as we were going to break. And here's Johnson.
Now, Jackson's not shy about shooting.
No, he's not.
Only about a 30% three-point shooter, though.
Woody Newton takes it in on Clark. Oh, knocked away inside. A beautiful knock away.
That's Bamgboye again.
Clark the other way. Clark will fly. Inside. Rebound taken. Reeled in by Newton. Lost. Clark. And they'll reset with Jackson. A shimmy, a drive, a feed. Shulga, aim, shoot, score! Big-time triple when they needed it the most.
Kevin, it took him a long time. I wasn't sure he was going to shoot that. That's his first 3 of the game. And he's an outstanding three-point shooter.
He's got 9. He averages 15. Conference Player of the Year. Amajuru is in. He is down underneath. Driving here, wheeling in Johnson across the lane. It's out of bounds, and it's off of George Mason. With 10:57
George
to
Mason
go.
is only shooting 29% from the field.
9 block shots, third most this season. Nationally, VCU is 9th in block shots. Great size, incredible timing and skill to do it. Almost at the halfway part of the second half here in Washington, D.C. Bamgboye will drive, Maddox will defend, and 3 will converge. Shulga had it ripped away inside by Johnson. Flying the other way, takes flight and can't put it in. Haynes tried to tip it. Rebound taken by VCU and Zeb Jackson.
That's now 12 turnovers in the game for VCU. They really dodged one there.
Jackson, Clark. Jackson sets. He's free. Fires. No. Rebound. Shulga held by Johnson. The Auburn transfer, Katie Johnson. That is his 4th. And yes, Dan, you're looking at me going, I am keeping an eye on these personal fouls. They are mounting for both teams.
Well, and the bad thing about that one is the foul was against Shulga, and so now he's going to go to the line. That's a 1-on-1. And as you've mentioned before, he's an outstanding free throw shooter.
His career is terrific. By the way, the one thing that you find teams like this, the great experience at this level, 5 players on VCU, Dan, with 4 or more years of college basketball experience. One kid was 7. And it does pay off. In situations like this, they've all seen a lot of games.
On Shulga, he just never changes his facial expression. He always goes at the same speed. I mean, you have a guy like that, that really keeps things calm.
Trying to get it in, taking their time. Here's O'Connor. He's got to fly. He went over.
No, he's got to hold the body.
Right.
The whole body and the ball have to be over.
He's going to go over, and he didn't.
He just stepped over with his feet, so that's not an over and back.
It's all about the ball, isn't it?
Well, in this case, it's about the ball and everything else.
Yeah. Maddox going down low, ball deflected. It was picked up on the play by Clark. The other way, that is stolen, intercepted by Billups. Retaken by Jackson, who stepped out of bounds.
Boy, that was just a very ill-advised pass. And VCU turns it over again. And here's what you're talking about, Kevin, with the foul trouble. Johnson with 4, Haynes with 3. Now, Jennings, he's a very important player off the bench, but Russell and Bamgboye are both starters. Now we got a discussion about what the shot clock should be at, and it's going to be 30.
Yep. As Zach Anderson will inbound the ball. He's got Clark in front of him on the ball. Connor trying to get free. Shulga is there poking away at it.
VCU's defense has just been outstanding.
One of the best in the country.
But George Mason's has been almost as good. But the Patriots need to get the ball to go in the basket a couple of times here.
Haynes trying to free himself. It's been very tough. Jackson is all over him. Haynes will spin, corkscrew, and a travel.
Well, and again, he can't get by Bamgboye.
Right here, after NCIS on CBS and streaming on Paramount Plus, they got Bell taking it by midcourt. And Shulga with a glance at his coach, Ryan Odom. Approaching 9 to play in the championship game with the winner going to the tournament. 3, Clark, bucket.
Well, that's a big basket.
It's the biggest lead by the Rams after it was a 2-point game on some good shooting by the Patriots. It's a 10-point advantage, their biggest this afternoon, and under 9 to go. A screen, Anderson will take it. And a good scoop feed inside. Haynes will convert. Jalen Haynes puts it up and in.
Well, Anderson drew everybody, and a couple of VCU guys fell down, and that's as open as Haynes has been inside in this game.
And 2 points by Haynes stops an 8-0 run by VCU. Virginia Commonwealth University inside Bamgboye with a foul as he was going up to fire.
We talked about Haynes and how active he is. You can see him. He's just waiting in the wings, and 2 guys fall down. It takes a little time to get himself organized. but that was an important basket.
Haynes has got 4 fouls. It's been a while since the Patriots got 2 going back to the first half. Bamgboye is at the line. VCU, the preseason favorites to win the A-10, but the team in green, George Mason, they were picked in the preseason poll by the guys and gals that cover this conference, number 6. They finished as the 2 seed and co-champions of the regular season. And for the first time, George Mason is in this championship game in the A-10.
Well, the Haynes is going out, and I'm not sure it's because he has 4 fouls or he just needs a blow.
Rebound taken down.
And VCU has shot the ball very well from the free throw line today, but interestingly enough, as good an offensive player as he is, Bamgboye is not a good free throw shooter. You miss 2 in that situation, it's like another turnover.
Emejuru, the big man down low. Bamgboye is trying to defend him. Now, Emejuru comes out with a screen. O'Connor tries to work. The shot clock down at 3. Gets by Shulga and cannot put in the contorted falling down shot. And snaking his way up is Bell. In the corner, Bamgboye 3. No! Rebound hauled down inside, taken there by Emejuru. And here comes O'Connor again. 7.5 to go. O'Connor gets the big screen. Maddox has got the ball. A 3. Good!
Maddox is another guy who has been relatively quiet, but he's capable of getting very hot very quickly.
Back to a 5-point game. They've cut that 10-point lead in half. Bamgboye, O'Connor there. Emejuru will defend. Shulga on the wing. Billups with the defense. Bamgboye, the fake, the drive, the feed. Shulga 3. Rebound O'Connor.
Kevin, he's just not shooting that ball with much confidence. He took a long time there again.
Oh, intercepted. It's picked up by Bell. Bamgboye, O'Connor, and Bamgboye lost the ball. Diving on the floor. Billups cradles it. It's a tie-up. 6:39 to go. Let's send it over to A.J. Ross.
Kevin, I can tell you Tony Skinn was emphasizing defense again with his team, but more so helping the helper. He says, we've been in these positions before. We know they're going to be attacking the rim, especially with the foul trouble you two have been talking about with both of these teams. He says you have to keep on rotating and keep your eye on the ball and your man for sure, guys.
AJ, we thank you very much. And here comes Maddox, who's out there with Anderson. Emejuru is in the middle. O'Connor's got the ball. A whistle is blown. 6:27 to go in the half. That goes on Shulga. Danny picks up his first foul for VCU.
I think the most important guy on the court right at the moment for George Mason is Maddox. He's a guy who can really score in bunches.
And maybe the most important guy on the floor for VCU is Clark. With him in the game, they're plus 15. When he rests, they're minus 10. O'Connor. Shot clock at 6. Trying to set up. Hard shot off by Maddox. Rebounded is taken in by the aforementioned Clark. Shulga the other way and putting on the brakes. He'll reset with Clark and Jackson. Under 6 to go, Dan, in this championship game.
Russell's been on the bench for a long time. Be interesting to see how well he can play.
It's Clark, hits the deck, gets it back to Jackson. Shot clock at 6. Grabbed out there by Anderson. Russell will move. The bump, the spin. Johnson on him. Here goes a shot knocked away. Big time play there by Billups. With .3 on the clock.
And that means that nobody can catch the ball. The only option that they have is toss it up for a tip.
And you got the defensive player of the year in the conference defending Billups on that play.
That's just a great defensive play. Now, so you can't catch it. You have to throw it up for a tip.
Clark will do it. .3. Shulga, that's exactly what he does, and there goes the violation.
By rule, nobody can catch the ball. You got to be at least .4 for that. With .3, as soon as they threw it inbounds, other than a tip play, that's a violation. And again, George Mason gets the defensive stop.
These are two terrific defensive teams. In the A-10, George Mason, number 2 in points allowed, number 1 in opponent's field goal percentage. The team in green, George Mason, is number 2 defending the 3. So they check every box in the big defensive categories. Here comes O'Connor. And Jackson will defend.
Haynes is back in.
It's Maddox. Driving through traffic is Anderson, and they throw the ball, which was picked up, but a foul was called before Anderson passed. And it goes on VCU with 8 seconds on the clock and 5:13 to play.
Clark gets himself out of position, and Anderson is able to penetrate, and Bamgboye has to come over and help, and he picks up the foul, and that'll be a 2-shot foul.
Bamgboye picks up his second. 5:13 to go.
Anderson, a 65% free throw shooter, and he hadn't been in the line today, as you can see, but he's got 2. So this is a great response by George Mason. They were down 10, and then VCU turned it over a couple times, and George Mason turned those into baskets.
Time to cash it in. 1-1 here for Anderson. And he gets the first, as you see, to drop. They haven't won. The Patriots at George Mason. They have not won a conference tournament since 2008. They were back in the CAA, which is now the Coastal Athletic Association. Last time this program won, and the last time they were in the tournament was 2011. He gets the back end to go. And George Mason, Dan Bonner, is on a 7-0 run. 3-point game. It was a 2-point game earlier. Then VCU jacked it back up to 10. Now it's back down to 3, and we're approaching 5 to play. Hand-to-hand combat there with Billups and Shulga. 2 of the best players in the conference. Now Jackson's got it. Sizes up Anderson. Makes his move. Takes it in. Shulga slipped. Regains. The defensive player of the year is on him. Shot clock at 2. Shulga will fire. And fouled as he fired on the 3. It's on Billups.
Well, this is just a heck of a play by Shulga. He doesn't get rattled with the defensive pressure. He looks up and he sees the shot clock is running down, and then he gives that fake, and Billups just can't resist. And Billups did not go straight up in the air. He went forward towards Shulga, which is why the foul was called.
With the game on the line, here's your conference player of the year, who's now shooting free throws against the best defender in the conference, and they go head-to-head when it matters most. 5 of 5 free throw shooting for Max Shulga this afternoon.
Well, before we saw the defense win, and that time the offense won.
Yep. Rams beat the Patriots. The team in white beat the team in green in the first meeting back in February by 16 points. VCU is the number 1 seed. George Mason is the number 2. The number 1 seed have won just 3 times in the A-10 tournament in its history. 4.5 to go. O'Connor in a 5-point game.
Haynes or Maddox has to handle the ball.
Anderson down low. Haynes back in. Doubled. He's in a straight jacket. Hits the deck. Anderson got it. Big 3. 2-point game. Jackson. Swithers inside the arc. Shot clock is at 9. Bamaseal driving on Maddox.
Well, he went right at Haynes, and Haynes has to be very careful with those 4 personal fouls, but it's really hard to stay in front of Bamaseal. He's very quick with that first dribble.
Billups. And Shulga is there. Haynes down low. They quickly blitz him with a couple. Haynes down inside. Got it up and in. He worked right into Bamgboye. 12 points for Jalen Haynes. Jackson will drive out of the blocks and flies inside. Off balance going in. Bamgboye hits it. Luke Bamgboye, the freshman from London. His first field goal this afternoon.
They don't run any plays for him, but that was a good drive to the basket, and he just followed the ball.
Haynes has got it. It's Anderson. Haynes a screen. He bores his way inside. Cross court. This could make it a one-point game. Maddox.
Well, Kevin, Jalen Haynes has really emerged here in the last couple of possessions, draws 4 guys around him. That leaves Anderson wide open, and he has played very well today. And then if you don't come to help against him, well, what he's going to do, he's going to bull his way inside, and there's very little you can do. And again, one of the problems that VCU had early in the game was the fact that George Mason was able to get inside the defense. There, they get inside the defense, they make a couple of passes, and now Maddox is wide open. George Mason not noticed for his three-point shooting, but that's what's keeping him in this today.
Team in green, George Mason on a 15-6 run. Shulga. He'll go up against Billups. Top players in this conference. Jackson on the wing. O'Connor is there. Bamgboye a screen. Another screen by Bamgboye. Shot clock at 6. Shulga against Anderson. Step back. The 3.
Wow. And he said, you see him send everybody away when Anderson switched on him. He was much more confident against Anderson than he was against Billups.
Maddox on the wing. Anderson trying to get free on top. Haynes was setting a screen. Fouls Shulga of VCU. It's his second.
And this is really interesting, Kevin. Watch here. Anderson now has switched on him. He sends everybody away, waves them away, and then he just sets Anderson up, backs him in, step back 3. That's a big basket. Now down on the other end, he just committed a foul. So there's Haynes at the line. Now he's made 3 or 4, even though he's not a great free throw shooter.
Haynes at the line, 12 points today, 3 of 4. With 1:42 to go. And his dad, Michael, loving it.
Kevin, and even if he misses this one, George Mason has 14 offensive rebounds today, so it's not a guarantee that VCU will get the ball.
Puts in a couple beauties. 2-point game again, 1:42 to go. The full court press there, and both teams are doing it. Clark has got it. And now Bamgboye.
Well, one thing that I'll mention, Kevin, and it's too early to start fouling, but Bamgboye is not a good free throw shooter at all.
Oh! Parachuting in. What a play, Bamgboye!
But he's a great dunker.
He is indeed out of the rafters, and he pounds it down. Anderson will take it. Clark is on him. Haynes wheeling inside Anderson, but there's traffic. And there's Haynes to get it. Hit the deck. Fouled on the play with words for Clark. George Mason at the free throw line today, 15 of 16 going there after this play, which has been the theme all afternoon long here in the nation's capital. Physical play by both teams.
On Haynes, that's a really risky play going right into the chest of Clark. Clark just backed away.
He's 5 of 7 from the line now.
Again, if he misses, VCU's had trouble blocking out all game long.
And he's a 61% free throw shooter, well above that average today. Bamgboye moments ago.
Well, Bamgboye is the guy who's going to take it to the basket, and everybody goes to Bamgboye. Nobody pays any attention to Bamgboye. Well, let's take a look at our game reset. You can see George Mason with 1 timeout, VCU with 2. Next foul for each team will be shoot 2. And maybe one of the most important things at this point in the game, the possession arrow in favor of VCU.
VCU has made 4 of their last 5 shots. Clutch shooting has been on display. 1:07 to go. With a look at the foul trouble, which has been a constant companion in this game.
Well, there's Bamgboye. He had 3 fouls in the first half. He still has 3, so VCU has managed the foul trouble very well.
Hard-fought game. These rivals, and Clark has got it right now, and Maddox will follow him. A minute to go. It's Clark. Shulga, thought 3. Down he goes. Inside Bamgboye, and a whistle.
Shulga doing a great job moving without the ball. We've seen him with the ball in his hands. Now he gets it, heads to the basket, and that's an unfortunate play, but he did trip him.
Billups picks up his 4th.
Steps right on his foot, knocks him down. That's a foul.
Mason. Shulga at the line in 6 of 7 today.
Looks like Billups may have jammed his fingers.
He's down there kind of grimacing, isn't he? VCU has been to the NCAA Tournament 13 times in the past 19 seasons. Team in green, George Mason, hasn't been to the tournament in 14 years. Shulga again from Ukraine. It's O'Connor. It's a 5-point VCU lead.
And you don't need a 3, but you need to go quickly.
Haynes a screen roll with O'Connor, takes it in, steamrolls, got it, whistle, foul, send him to the line.
So get a 3 the old-fashioned way.
Yep.
Haynes is really good in screen and roll situations, Kevin, and he's going to take it, set the screen right here, and then he's just going down into the lane. That's the classic screen and roll. And Bamgboye goes to cover O'Connor, can't get back in time.
Haynes redshirted last season. But boy, has he had a stretch in the last 7 games coming into this afternoon. He's averaged 19 points. Haynes today with 17. And Jackson gets the miss.
I'm not sure that even hit the rim.
I don't know that it did either.
Because it's a violation if it doesn't.
Jackson, O'Connor on him. 3-point game.
Got to figure out a way to foul Bamgboye. If you're Bamgboye, just get away from the play.
It's Clark with the fake. Anderson on him. Jackson with the 3. Way off. Rebound tap. Volleyballed. It's picked up on the play by Jalen Haynes. Gets by Jackson. Drives. Feeds. Anderson 3. Out. Rebound. Fought for. Diving. Collected. Bamgboye zeros. It's over.
I'm not sure it's over, Kevin.
The officials have now told both teams.
Well, they're trying to get the administrators and, or are they going to say it's over?
Zeros on the clock. It appears VCU is won. And let's watch the clock with the shot.
Well, now Anderson has shot the 3 very well. That's a play that you'll take. Bamgboye picks up the ball.
Saved it. Was it a foul?
Now, the referees, I think, are trying to get everybody off the court. You know, we got the guys out here with the ropes so you can have the net cuttings. There are guys with ladders. And I think the officials are claiming there's time left on the clock.
They will go back and look. Did they call a foul on that play right
it looked,
there?
From that angle, it looked like there was about 1.2 seconds left on the clock.
Newton with the shove. The question is, they'll get more clarity here in just a second after this official review.
Well, I mean, the ladders are out of the court.
Yeah, they got ladders on the floor. The ropes.
Okay, now he's got the ball.
And he's not out of bounds.
There's the foul right there. So there could be as many as 0.7 seconds left in the game. And again, it's a 3-point lead for VCU.
Gene Steratore joins us, and Gene, walk us through this.
I think there's a great look right there, Kevin, as we see the shot clock up above the backboard when the reach and the foul occurs. If they go right when contact was on the left shoulder, I think we could be at 4 or 5
After review, the clock will be set to 0.5, and number 22 from VCU will shoot free throws.
So Bamgboye will shoot the free throws. The foul went on Woody Newton, and 0.5 left in this championship game.
So they're trying to get everybody off the court.
Yes,
you know, the security folks have all the ropes and, you know.
Remember last year in Brooklyn, we had the confetti flying like midway through the game.
Yeah, and now we have the ladders off the court early.
Ready to crown a champion.
Well, the ladders and the ropes are coming right back out. Bamgboye's at the line for 2 shots.
And George Mason will put no one even. Well, now they're going to bring him out with 0.5.
Kevin, we've seen crazier things.
Yes, we have.
If he misses both shots, you have time to get a rebound and turn and fire. And so it's an unbelievably long shot.
George
Literally.
Mason has a timeout. Bamgboye will be at the line.
If he can make 1 of 2, it's academic.
64% from the stripe.
And that's it.
And
all right, bring the guys with the ropes out.
Yep. One more. Valiant effort. These were co-regular season champions in the Atlantic 10. Each with a 15-3 record. But the Rams got the #1 seed by virtue of their win earlier in the season against George Mason. And another.
What a second half for Bamgboye with 3 personal fouls.
And that's it. It's official. VCU, the A-10 tournament champions, the regular season champions, and they're going to the dance again.